All right, welcome back to Twin Tarot. I'm David.
And I'm Gary.
And today we are going to talk about
The part 2 of the vice presidential derby for Kamala Harris.
part 1, which would go up on Monday. We record this on Saturday, July 27th. It's 1 o'clock Pacific time. We just got done with the dream team, the dream candidates, the very progressive, exciting all-star candidates.
The bold choice.
And now we're going to do more of the more conservative, traditional choices.
Yeah, probably the ones that make more political sense than appealing to your enthusiasm, right?
All right. So you should curb your enthusiasm. And who are the 3 people we're reading on?
So the contestants today, Dave, are Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania.
Yay!
Mark Kelly, the senator in Arizona.
And
Andy Beshear, the governor of Kentucky.
All right. So these are candidates, as Gary would describe as filling in the blind spots of Kamala Harris, putting some people's minds at ease that all the bases are covered.
Yeah, this is pulling in the independents, the voters that might not line up readily behind Kamala Harris. These are the folks that bring in those extra votes. It's not a mini-me necessarily. These are to give her votes and presence, maybe in swing states or in states where the VP candidate is very well received.
Okay,
so we're going to start off with Josh Shapiro.
Yeah, Gary, let Gary start off here.
Yes, I get to start because David started last time. So Josh Shapiro is the governor of Pennsylvania. It's a swing state that he won by 15 percentage points. He's kind of a nuts and bolts kind of. He's been described as a nuts and bolts kind of governor. So he can the common man kind of relates more readily to him. Kind of some of the downsides of Josh Shapiro is he rankled some of the teachers unions because he supports the school voucher program. He was also a vocal critic of the college campus protests of the war in Gaza.
That's going to be a hard one to overcome, given how much the youth vote has feelings on that.
Absolutely. I think the other thing is he served as the attorney general in Pennsylvania. So, if Kamala Harris wants to go for a good, heavy, tough on crime, law and order message, it'll probably carry a lot more weight than Trump's tough on crime, law and order message, as delivered by a 34-time convicted felon, right?
But she's already got that base covered because she's already the former district attorney of San Francisco and the attorney general of California.
Yeah.
And as somebody pointed out in a TikTok video, those are not appointed jobs either. Those are jobs where she had to run for them and be elected for them. So she was elected as a DA in San Francisco. She was elected as the attorney general in California. She was elected as the U.S. Senator for California. This woman is a winner.
Yes, but it's also with Shapiro. He brings Pennsylvania. Like I said, he won it by 15 percentage points. He thwarted a number of attempts by Trump to subvert the election results. So he comes with a lot of blue ribbon points, as it were.
All right. Well, let's jump to your 4-card reading, and we'll see what the cards have to say.
Yeah, see what the cards say. See what the spirit
says. More cards, less us.
Yes.
That clearly what everybody wants.
For entertainment purposes only.
Because what do we know?
Yeah, just a couple of twits throwing cards out of California, right?
I'm just going to be the disembodied voice of God as Gary throws these cards.
Yes, this is kind of my inner voice. Okay, the foundation for Josh Shapiro as VP candidate, Temperance card. He brings a balance, an emotional balance here. Once again, he's got a lot of the same background, but he's bringing it from a swing state where you have to be able to appeal not only to Democrats but to the Republicans, because it's a swing state because you have about equal number of registered voters that go out there and actually vote.
That's a good, solid card, by the way.
Absolutely.
For those Gary and I were taking bets that he was going to be the weakest candidate, and so far that's a damn solid card to start off with.
Okay, so you got the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Swords. Boy, this is about
movement.
Oh, and it's the Sorrow card, and underneath it, the Magician. Okay, so
he's no Gavin Newsom.
No, being from the swing state, he's got the Temperance card. You know, he's appealing to voters from both sides, both parties. Like I said, he's out there, and he has Kitten's out there being vocal too.
Mm-hmm.
I guess she's waiting for lunch. She'll be on the table shortly, I'm sure. So he's been appealing to voters on both sides. He brings a strong message. He's not afraid to boldly move forth with his opinion and vocalize his opinion. As like I said, he was a vocal critic of the college campus protests, which, you know, for someone who's in the Democratic Party, that's, you know, a little bit counter to how the Democrats have traditionally placed themselves here. But he's also got the Knight of Wands. You know, he brings ideas and messages forward. And then the Sorrow card. It could be that simply he might not. It might not be exactly what he wants. He may enjoy what he's doing currently. It could be that being VP isn't his ultimate end game. You know, like Gavin Newsom, I'm surprised we didn't draw the Sorrow card. Gavin Newsom certainly doesn't want to be VP. He wants to be president. Josh Shapiro, it might not be exactly what he's looking for. He's basically said it's Kamala Harris's decision to make. He's keeping the door open, but maybe this isn't exactly what he's looking for. And I'll let David throw his 2 cents in. But at the end of the day, underneath it all, he's a magician. He makes things happen. You've got the pentacle, you've got the wand, you've got the cup, you know, and basically you've got the sword in his hand. He can make things happen. He's the candidate that can really help Kamala Harris and help her candidacy and help her become president. Over to you, David.
Okay, so when I look at that, what I'm getting is the with the Temperance card. Great, you know, Temperance card, solid signifier card, as well as the underlying energy with the Magician. I think he would be a solid pick and likely would help deliver Pennsylvania to the Democrats.
Yes.
But underneath it is that Knight of Swords, and I think the Knight of Swords to me is Kamala has a vision for who the VP pick is going to be, and it's going to be somebody with different values than himself, and it's going to be
herself.
It's going to be his criticism of the protesters that's going to be his undoing. I think on the one hand, he would be a solid pick. He would help advance the ticket. He would be very supportive with that Knight of Wands. But on the other hand, it's just his values, they would cause controversy, where controversy need not be caused. The whole point of these more conservative choices, these more traditional choices, is not to raise controversy. If you're going to raise controversy, you might as well go with Gavin Newsom or Pete Buttigieg or Gretchen Whitmer.
Yeah. I think you nailed it with this, because now I'm listening to you talk. It's like this Sorrow card. It might not be his sorrow. It could be the voter's sorrow.
I don't think it's voter's sorrow. I think it's his sorrow. I think he knows he lines up really well, but he doesn't line up. He doesn't line up perfectly, and maybe he has regrets about what he said, because the internet's forever, and so now he's always going to be associated with that.
Yeah, if you're being critical of the college campus protests, I mean, that could be where he's looking, the sorrow point, whereas, like you said, that could be the thing that Kamala Harris looks and says, "Yeah, you know what? Sorry, dude. You were so close."
Yeah.
But could be wrong.
Yeah, I think with that Knight of Swords, it's just she has an idealism of who she wants, and that's going to be a strike against him that might not be recoverable.
Okay. But we did get the Temperance card as the foundation, which is a wonderful.
I think it's good, solid start. He very solid choice. Doesn't mean he doesn't come with some baggage, but he would have been a very solid choice. So if she does end up picking him, don't be alarmed. Good, solid choice. It's just you're gonna have to do a little damage control with young people.
Yeah.
Auntie Kamala will take care of it.
So now you get Mark Kelly, Senator of Arizona.
Fine. I wanted you to have Mark Kelly, but fine, I'll do Mark Kelly.
He was second on my list, and you're second. So Mark Kelly, he's the senator of Arizona. Now you want to talk about a blue chip candidate for your vice president. You could do a lot worse than Mark Kelly. So here are my little notes here. So Mark Kelly, senator of Arizona. He was son of parents that were both worked in the police department. He was a Navy pilot. He was a NASA astronaut that piloted Endeavour, the spatial Endeavour, I believe. He lives on board.
The flat earthers vote now. You lost that.
I don't think the Democrats ever had that vote. He lives on a border state, so he could certainly, and he's a Second Amendment supporter, so he can reach those people that have the border fear and the fear that all my guns are going to be taken away. He's the kind of that olive branch to those voters. Kind of the downsides, more relative downsides to Mark Kelly is he's not a pit bull attack dog. He keeps more of a low profile. So he's not the type of person that's going to get all fire and brimstone in delivering his sermon. And Arizona might struggle to replace him. He's the current senator there, and the governor can replace him with a new Senate candidate. But when that senator comes up for re-election in 2026, Arizona may have a tough time keeping that seat blue in the Senate.
Yeah. So what's working against him is that the Democrats need all their senators that they can possibly get to help advance candidates for the courts, as well as cabinet post position members, and getting legislation passed. So that's what's working against him here. Okay, so Mark Kelly, who's not Maurice from Northern Exposure. You never watched Northern Exposure, so you have no idea.
No idea what you're talking about.
He was an astronaut that basically owned all of Sicily, Alaska, where the story takes place. All right. Entertainment purpose only. Mark Kelly, Kamala Harris VP pick. What's the energy around him? 4 of Wands. It's opening day. Welcome aboard, Mr. Kelly. Things are looking good. That's a great start. Maybe the major arcana with Temperance. But I think about that Temperance card. That's kind of like the consolation prize. The first guy got the year's supply of rice-a-roni here. Got Queen of Swords, King of Wands, great cards, Page of Swords, 6 of Swords. Okay. What do we have with Mark Kelly here? 4 of Wands. Opening day, welcome. With this, I think he would be a solid pick. King of Wands, he's a leader, he's a doer, he gets things done. Queen of Swords makes good choices. But if you're picking him again, you do it with the understanding that that Arizona is going to have to do something with their senators. In some ways, if he was offered this position, he would have the right of first refusal. This could be one of those ones where he could be offered it and would say, "Yeah, let's talk about what's best for the party here." We also have the Page of Swords underneath there. Young person, spy in the camp. No.
He's very politically new.
Yeah, is he? Then that could very well be that. Might want somebody who's a little more savvy, politically savvy with the Page of Swords. Might be green.
His wife is the one that got shot in the head.
That's correct. I don't know what's her health like, because that was the first thought that came to mind, was him needing to take care of his wife, but I don't know what her health status is. I don't think we looked that one up.
You want to pause and I could take a quick peek?
Yeah, hang on for a second. But underneath it all is the Six of Swords, moving out of troubled waters to calmer shores. Does that mean he's leaving? The Six of Swords isn't the greatest card underneath here. I think he would be the safe, just like you're saying, he's got the resume. He would be the safe pick. Let's take a look and see what his wife's health's looking like and see how that might impact this. And we're back. Okay, so we looked at Gabby Giffords, Mark Kelly's wife. And what did you discover, Gary?
Well, what I was seeing is that right now he's satisfied with his life, but that's not necessarily mean the same as he's happy with his life. His wife has recovered, but I wouldn't say she's fully recovered. I think she's going to have lingering effects from this.
I believe the term was aphasia is what I saw. Basically, some brain damage because she was shot in the head.
Yeah. And the one quote that was in there that really struck with me was he's living in Tucson and he doesn't want to move anymore. He likes it where he is. And I was telling David, it's like, that might be that whole Six of Swords card. It's like, I don't want to take my wife and relocate to Washington, D.C. I'm happy where I'm at.
And I think if you take that in total, he's going to be offered it, but he has to make the choice because he knows what the job's going to entail. And he has to know, if I take this job, I know what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to be traveling a lot. I'll be out of the country, stuff like that. Is that what I want to do with my wife? Do I want to have to move, uproot everything for this job? And this might be one of those things where the Democratic powers that be, or say the big donors want Mark Kelly. But Mark Kelly gets to make the final choice if Mark Kelly wants to throw his hat in the ring. That's how I'm going to translate that. I think if he threw his hat in the ring, he'll get it. But he's going in with his eyes wide open. Yeah,
he's got a lot of different things on his plate. You know, being a senator isn't what defines him. You know, he's a former pilot. You know. He's a NASA pilot.
He's had a full life without being a U.S. senator.
Yeah, exactly, and he still has ambitions to do other things. So this is not the end all be all being the senator of Arizona, but he's also a family man. He's taking care of his wife, and he may look at this job as like, I won't be able to give my wife the care that I want to give her to help her through this. Okay. So we're going to get down to Andy Beshear, the governor of Kentucky. So Beshear is an interesting, very intriguing candidate. So Kentucky's a very red state, and I don't think they've elected a governor since like the 1990s or something. Or they have. Or sorry, let me rephrase that. They've not voted for a Democratic presidential candidate since the 1990s. He's won re-election as the governor of Kentucky. He's got the second highest approval rating of all governors at 67%. He kind of emphasizes pocketbook issues over cultural war. So he's kind of like the anti-MAGA, if you will. The common person can really relate to him, and he can really relate to them. So he's not all
wants to be, but never could because he's too damn greedy, playing both sides of the fence, so he can go on his boat and leave and never sail off to irrelevancy. But maybe I have opinions.
So he's also a former state attorney general. So once again, kind of like Josh Shapiro, if Kamala Harris wants to go on that tough on crime platform, she's got Andy Beshear there. Kind of the tough part with Beshear is, once again, they don't have a long traditional history of voting for a Democratic presidential candidate, although Beshear might pull enough votes to do it for Kentucky, but he might not have a lot of pull outside of Kentucky. So that's kind of the knock on that as a candidate, is he can help in a red state, but he might not have enough political capital in some of the other swing states. Not like Shapiro might, for example. Okay, so we'll throw some cards on Andy Beshear. How's Andy Beshear's energy as Kamala Harris's vice presidential pick? The foundation.
Oh no! Someone's gonna force him on her.
Well, let's get them all. We got the Knight of Wands again.
I don't want this job.
The Lover's card. The Two of Wands, and underneath it all, the Hierophant. Okay. So the reason why I want to throw all the cards is because it's too easy to start going down a path if you don't have more of the story. Because the Nine of Swords can be looked at one of a couple ways. This could be a nightmare for Andy Beshear. It's like, oh my God, Vice President, I don't want this. This could be, the Nine of Swords could be for Trump and MAGA. Like, oh my God, this guy is actually popular in a red state, and we could lose a state that they need every state they can get.
He would be like the anti-JD Vance choice. Would you say that?
Exactly. This guy's could be a real nightmare scenario for the Republicans.
Yeah.
So let's look at.
It's funny you should go that way, because my first thought was, as you heard, is like Nine of Swords. Oh no, what are I doing? But then it's like, oh, that could be the Republican nightmare. Ugh.
Exactly. Okay, so and that's the beauty of tarot. It's interpretation. I think we all have the ability to read tarot. The real gift and the real art of this is getting beyond just the hard meaning of the card and looking at what the card's trying to tell you in the grand scheme of thing with all the cards. Kind of the signifier here is the Nine of Swords, and the main clarifier here is the six, the major arcana, the Lovers. This could be a great pick for Kamala Harris's campaign, especially if he can deliver Kentucky, because Kentucky is not a swing state. It is a red state, and he is damn popular in the red state. And that could be a real game changer, because I was prefacing this that he might not be able to pull additional people outside of Kentucky. What this card is saying is, no, actually, he could be pulling a lot of people because of his kind of his pocketbook approach. He's seen as a more practical person, and the more rural, maybe not, certainly not MAGA, but the more rural conservative Republican can look at this guy and say, you know what, I understand where this guy's coming from. I can relate to this guy, and that becomes a Republican nightmare. The Knight of Wands, he's good at bringing ideas and creativity and messaging forward. And then you've got the Two of Wands, looking at options and making decisions, looking down the road, looking at the big picture. Kamala Harris could be looking at this saying, what does this candidate bring? And especially compared to the other folks that I've got there, and looking out in the future and how well does this fit with my campaign? And underneath it, you got the Hierophant, which is kind of your government card, your kind of your organized religion, organized religion, governments. So underneath it is, he might be a very good fit for this government, this role as VP. Your thoughts, Dave?
The Nine of Swords, again, could be
Nine
what
of
am I
Clubs?
doing? I was so happy in Kentucky.
Nine of Wands.
I said Nine of
Oh,
Swords.
I'm sorry.
It could be that, oh my God, I'm leaving Kentucky. What am I doing? It could also be the Republican saying, oh no, we didn't want him. But it can also be just sort of like, the media or folks who want, the sexy pick is like, oh, not this guy. But I do think that with the Lover's card, really solid pick, good balance to the ticket. Knight of Wands gets things done. He's a planner. He can move legislation along. Two of Wands, forward-looking planner, again, can get stuff done. Underneath it all, he's got government experience. He understands how governments work. He would, again, I think with him, he would be appealing to rural voters where maybe the rural voters may not vote for Harris, but it might ease them from voting for Trump. He could put some voters' minds at ease that, if something, there's going to be somebody pushing back against Harris if Harris goes full progressive or something along those lines. And a lot of things that what could happen is if he's about kitchen table issues, that's one of the things I think the Democrats are really going to hammer home is just helping average Americans deal with life. And he would be a great spokesman for that. Okay, so we have our three candidates.
Yeah.
We've got the Temperance card dashed with a touch of solace. Yeah. For who's our first candidate? Whose name I'm
Shapiro. Governor of Pennsylvania.
We got Mark Kelly, who would be welcomed with open arms, but doesn't want to move. And then we've got Mr. Shapiro here.
Andy Beshear.
Andy Beshear, excuse me. Can't remember these names.
Who's the Nine of Swords, and it just depends whose nightmare scenario he's going to be.
Exactly. So I don't know. Do we have a clear-cut winner on this one?
I'm going to say it's a toss-up. It's interesting because I think you kind of put your finger on it. I think Kelly will probably be the one that's initially offered this, and he may turn it down.
Yeah.
And then it becomes the Andy Beshear, Josh Shapiro show.
Right.
Shapiro delivers Pennsylvania. It's kind of, and he had the Temperance card, which is a great balance card, providing that emotional balance. Versus Beshear with the Nine of Swords, which is not a great signifier, but it just depends on how you read it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. What's your gut feeling on this?
We got to make a choice here.
I understand. Yes, for me, it's Shapiro's one in the hand where Beshear could be two in the bush.
You got the two of wands.
Yeah. I mean, I liked your reading on Beshear.
I don't think they're going to go with Shapiro, and if nothing else, it's because I think the end of the day, what he did, his opinions on the student protests, the Democrats really need that. They need that youth vote, and the last thing they need to do is undercut what. If that didn't happen, if he had supported the students protesters saying, you know what, it's quite the American thing to be young and be vocal and be politically active. We may not agree on everything, but, it's great to see. And I'm glad to see these young people engaged because they'll change the world. That would be great. But that's not what he said.
Yeah. It could be a situation where Kamala Harris looks at Pennsylvania. It's like, you know what? If I've got Shapiro stumping for me there, that might be enough to ensure that I nail down Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you can win Pennsylvania without him being the VP pick.
Yeah. So it sounds like we're going to advance Andy Beshear to the final round. Unless
the final round. I think if Mark Kelly wanted it, he'd be there. I just don't get the feeling that that's what he wants at this stage of his life.
Yeah, it's that whole. I think he was there until we pulled that Six of Swords.
Yeah.
I think, just like I thought Shapiro was going to be a shoo-in with the Temperance card.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, Beshear's going to be in, and I hope that Nine of Swords is a Republican nightmare instead of a Democrat nightmare.
Yeah, I do think that in the end of the day, the big money donors would like Mark Kelly to be in there. I just don't think Mark Kelly wants to be in there.
Yeah.
So I think we'll go with Andy Beshear on this one. But honorable mention goes to basically if Mark Kelly is the VP pick, I would say you heard it here first. it's like his job to walk away from.
Yeah, first line, first.
Right, yeah, right of first denial.
Yeah. First right of refusal. I think honestly, any of these three, I like these three candidates better than the first three that we read on.
Sure.
So far so good. We'll see how. So Andy Beshear is going to go to Thunderdome.
Yep. So we'll now do a third video here, and we will try. We're going to put Pete Buttigieg versus Andy Beshear.
Yes.
It will probably somehow sneak Mark Kelly in there.
He'll be Master Blaster.
Exactly. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for watching these videos and putting up with us. We appreciate it.
Yes, please like, share, subscribe, leave comments. Let's get lots and lots of views and lots of view hours, and we get this out to the Republican Trumpers out there and really kind of annoy them with it. How's that?
Exactly. It's your job to annoy other people. They've annoyed you. All right, we'll catch you on the next video. Take care.
Have a great day, folks. Bye.